the first book of Moses, called Genesis. Chapter 1. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt." And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. The Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people.
Most things in nature can be defined as either being a wave or particle. Said another way, things in nature are defined as either being energy or something physical. In 1730, Isaac Newton was the first modern scientist to explore the nature of light. He determined, quote, "All these things being considered, it seems probable to me that God in the beginning formed matter in solid, massy, hard, impenetrable, movable particles, even so very hard as never to wear or break in pieces, no ordinary power being able to divide what God himself made in the first creation." He determined that light must be made of particles because when light is shined past an object, shadows are formed appearing in straight lines. Several decades later, Thomas Young was the first mainstream physicist to challenge Isaac Newton. He determined, quote, "Much as I venerate the name of Newton, I'm not therefore obliged to believe that he was infallible. I see with regret that he was liable to err, and in his authority has perhaps sometimes limited the progress of science." Thomas Young believed that light was not a particle at all, but instead energy. And if light was energy, it would behave like a wave. Thomas Young developed the famous double-slit experiment, proving for the first time that light was not something physical, but instead illustrated energy wave phenomena. Light, when passed through two small slits, did not create two small impressions of light, but instead created several impressions of light. This theory was believed to be fact for more than 100 years. In the early 20th century, knowledge increased and the field of physics rapidly expanded. It was during this time that the theory of light was challenged again. Experiments were conducted, and due to the results of these experiments, the field of quantum mechanics was born. Now, before I describe the experiment that was conducted, I would like for you to read what the fathers of quantum mechanics have to say about it. This experiment, known as the experiment that broke physics, is just an extension of the double slit experiment. The theory was, if light is a particle, the reason we have wave phenomena is that the particles are bouncing off one another as they go through the slits. We should be able to send one particle at a time through the slits so that the particles will not bounce off each other. This can be accomplished by firing small, time bursts of light called photons. The experiment was completed by firing single photons of light, one at a time, at the double slit. The results of the experiment was that multiple lines were projected. Still determined that light was a particle, detectors were placed at each slit to determine which slit the light was traveling through. The experiment was completed again, and they found that the light was indeed only going through one slit at a time. But to their astonishment, the projected lines created were two lines this time. The experiments were completed over and over again. When the physicist made an intentional effort to observe the light with a detector, the light projected two lines. But when the detectors were turned off, the light projected multiple lines. The next discovery is what truly has changed the field of physics. The experiment has been repeated all over the world with different types of recording devices by thousands of scientists and still cannot be explained to this day. With all control variables constant and with the detectors running, the physicists decided to run the experiment, but instead this time they would intentionally delete the data that was collected about which slit the light traveled through, making a conscious effort to not observe the data. When they did this, the light returned to a wave behavior. In short, the light changed its behavior not at all by any physical change, but instead only by what the human observer decided to do. Light acts like energy when we do not make a conscious decision to observe it. Light acts like a particle when we do make a conscious effort to observe it. In short, science has proven the world around us changes based on how we observe and interact with it. Human consciousness can change the physical world around us. I don't pretend to know what light is, but I can tell you what it is not. The word for light, when it is written, "Let there be light," is the Hebrew word or. This is not the same word light used to describe the sun, moon, and stars on the fourth day, as shown previously. The word to describe the sun, moon, and stars is the word marot. Throughout Scripture, marot is used to describe something physical. The Hebrew word or can be used to describe something physical, but also has a double meaning to describe something spiritual. Even the absence of or, meaning darkness, is used to describe something physical and spiritual, as in the Exodus plague account.